I have something that I've just got to talk to you about. Let's guzzle down some bliss today. I love you. Be blessed. Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Blissful Breakfast with Briggs. I'm Briggs and I'm back. I got some warm magnesium here with some lemon. How tasty. What are you drinking? What are you doing? What are you breathing in today? What are you grateful for today? Wow, I've actually been on a hiatus. I took a break from the Blissful Breakfast podcast and it's been rejuvenating and beautiful. I hope you didn't miss me too much. I am here because I have something magical to talk about. We are still technically on a break for the Blissful Breakfast, but I have something that I've just got to talk to you about. I've got to share. It's one of my favorite topics. It's about magic. It's about our inner wizard. It's about tapping into the divine, to the sorcerer that we are. Because sorcerer, right? Like my buddy Joe told me the other day, sorcerer, we have source, God, we have the connection, the universe, source, pure love, light. And a sorcerer is someone who's able to leverage that energy in the love of source, who's able to tap into source and be a creator, a co-creator in this world. I just love it, sorcerer. So I believe I'm a sorcerer. I believe that you're a sorcerer too. A good one, of course. One that's tapping into true source, to love. So let's rock this morning together. Let's learn how to tap into our magic. And so I also want to talk about like fantasy, my love for fantasy and magical realms like Lord of the Rings, and why I'm choosing to pursue fantasy worlds and creating fantasy worlds and bringing a card game called Wizards and Relics to market, and why I'm so obsessed with the idea of wizards and magic and fantasy worlds. I hope you're able to just relax, just, puff on a wizardly pipe and have a nice warm beverage and just come and enter a magical fantasy realm with me this morning and today. So just to shoot out just a real kind of obvious what's going on, I have my second card game, Wizards and Relics Awakening, live on Kickstarter right now. We were looking to crowdfund more than enough to get that guy manufactured. And I wanted to share a little bit about my journey into creating a card game. I had this idea just kind of fall into my brain and I started running with it, and just what it means to me, one, to like pursue something creatively, to be an artist in this world and try to show up to the world and bring value to it, and what to do with that, and also how my love for magic, for magical things, for fantasy worlds, for Star Wars, for Lord of the Rings, for Harry Potter, for reading like Brandon Sanderson's world, for a Name of the Wind, like Patrick Rothfuss, his King Killer Chronicles. Why I just love fantasy novels and worlds, and why I'm just so obsessed with them, to the point of like, wow, diving deeper into this connection and parallel to God and source and like esoteric principles, and just this mystery of life that's hidden in all these ancient texts and even in fantasy, and how we can apply that to our regular life, to our real lives, everyday lives. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. So let's take just a small breath together. Let's do another one, okay? Just kind of a deep, regulated, consistent, relaxing breath. Not like too deep where it's like, but just a steady 4 seconds in, hold it, and then release. Yeah, we were just tapping into some magic right there. That's actually harnessing the breath is a green magic in our game, Wizards and Relics. So I actually, if you didn't know, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. I kickstarted a game called Wizards and Relics in 2020. And so I'm I'm an artsy dude, right? I'm an illustrator and I draw things, and my day job, I'm a professional like video editor, and I do animation and branding and graphic design and all that good stuff, and basically draw pictures and make things look good for a living. And I had to just I'm always looking for the next thing to go deeper and to tap into my creative like essence, and two, to just, I love fantastical things, man. Nothing gets me more excited than hearing concerning hobbits or listening to like Lord of the Rings music, Fellowship of the Ring. It just, like the music in the Shire, if you know what I'm talking about, it just gets me jazzed up. And there's something magical about all novels, all storytelling, and particularly the fantasy genre. There's a lot going on about the hero's journey, about the journey towards figuring oneself out, against these external obstacles, and traversing a magical world and having your world flipped upside down. I'm sure we can all relate, that you can relate to having your world checked and wrecked and flipped upside down. We've all had these weird circumstances. And, I think this is a good time. I read something the other day. Her name is Andy Queen. I think it's Andy Queen. She is a kind of a friend of a friend of Brittany Wild. And she had posted something. I don't know. She posted a comment on something. I clicked on her profile, and then I saw her latest post was this beautiful quote from the Fellowship of the Ring. I'm going to read this off here. I'm going to move around and look at my screen. So this is from, J.R. Tolkien's The Fellowship of the Ring. Okay. So all that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither. Deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes of fire shall be woken. A light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken. The crownless again shall be king. So, if you've seen the movies or read the books, you kind of have some context into what they're talking about there. But I think that it is such a beautiful line, group of words, such beautiful text on us. And it's about us. It's always about us and our inner journey, and about us being kings and realizing it and taking that mantle and reforging our sword and becoming the king that we're supposed to be, the king or queen, becoming the divine beings. I mean, that's what it's all about, in my opinion, is realizing our divine and magical identity and learning to tap in. Now, there's like real magic you can tap into, that we've lost. Like, you can literally communicate with animals. You can know things before they happen. There are also sorts of magical abilities. Like, before there was technology, back in the day, it was easier to tune in. It was easier to like know when a friend was traveling to your village, or, you could go to different places. We have this innate instinct to tap into the quantum realm, to tap into our intuition. And it's easy nowadays to not know that, to not do it, to not tap into it. It's very easy because we have other methods of it. And that's great too, but you can instant message, yeah. Have you ever had the thing where you thought of someone and then they called you or sent you a message? That is, sending your thought waves and connecting with someone else. You can connect to people through your thoughts. Like, our thoughts are things. In fact, matter is created by consciousness. It's the waves that turn into particles, and particles can actually shift back to waves. So we live in this energetic, electrical universe, I believe. And so magic is real, and it's really just a kind of a science that we don't understand yet, because it's just the framework of how the world was created, how this incarnation, how this existence is, this matrix, so to speak. But and even with alchemy, you hear of people, alchemists are able to turn lead into gold. That's just the surface level stuff. That's just like the physicality. It's fine. It's beautiful. It's magical. I love seeing miracles. I love seeing all sorts of wild shit happen. But the real power is in the inside. It's us alchemizing our soul. It's us transforming our soul from lead to gold, learning our soul lessons, learning and growing as beings. And that's what it's all about. And on this journey that we have, this creative journey, that is so prevalent, I think, in the fantasy genre, because there's so many tropes and things that relate to esoteric principles, like the knight battling the dragon and saving the princess out of the tower. Well, we all have a dragon. We all have a huge obstacle, and it's really an inner obstacle, and we have to overcome this dragon. And it's actually, the dragon is kind of like the ego, and it's really more of a loving the dragon and seeing the dragon and loving your inner child, connecting with that dragon, seeing that it is just doing what its nature is. And so the higher levels, you really calm the dragon. I mean, you kind of slay it. You have to overcome the obstacles. You can think of it as slaying it. But really, the higher perspective is you calm the dragon, and then you're able to save the princess from the tower. The princess represents the feminine, the divine feminine, the intuition. And so once we're able to defeat our dragon, we're able to tune back in and balance and be more connected to the divine and to balance the masculine and the feminine. So we're able to accomplish things, and then we're also able to be at peace and to tune in with our divine selves and with pure source love light. And so the fantasy genre and the fantasy worlds are phenomenal. You know, they're real. I would argue that they're real. That the realest thing that's relevant for us is the principles that they are talking about, and the hero's journey, I would say, is the most relevant thing. Now, I would also argue, if you want to join me in a weird perspective, I believe a lot of weird things, but I believe that Merlin is an actual higher dimensional being that came down to help humanity, kind of in the realm of a higher soul of all sorts of ancient and powerful and cool people that you hear about and that are written in stories. I believe a lot of them, that there's a lot of truth to them. I believe maybe some of them are made up. Some of them are kind of exaggerations or warped perspectives of them. But I feel like if you hear about someone, there's something there. Hey, Char. That's my dog just coming on in here. Oh, yeah. Hey, how's it going? You tired? Ready for bed? Yeah, so, I believe that some of these characters, and even, in other worlds or dimensions or galaxies, there are realms or planets where a lot of this fantastical stuff like physically actually exists. Yeah, I'm a weirdo like that. I totally believe that is for sure the case. Maybe in different universes or in not too far off. But that aside, that leads us back to like right now, how are we going to bliss out more? So for me, the more I tune into my creativity, the more I fall in love with the fantastical and embrace that and move towards it, the more jacked up in joy I feel. So I created a card game called Wizards and Relics. I had this idea to make War great again, to make the game War, that old card game where you kind of have two decks of cards. You split up the deck and then you kind of lay a card face down and you flip it over, and the highest power, the best one wins. So I wanted to make that game like actually fun and strategic and have like a deck that you could manipulate and cards you could choose to lay, and kind of have the strategic card game that's like quick to play but still like strategic. So I manifested this card game. I had this idea and we ran with it, and I wanted to actually just like take a creative project of mine and actually go all in, because usually I quit too soon. That's been a life lesson in this journey of mine, and so it's fun to kind of take something all the way. But it's a freaking heck of a lot of work, man. Slaying that dragon, that's a lot of work, but it's worth it in the end. And so I'm still on that journey. So we are releasing our second card game, Wizards and Relics Awakening, and it's live on Kickstarter right now. I will put the link in the show notes here. You can easily find a link. I would really love if you check it out. And if you want to be a patron of my work, I would ask you to back. I think it would be totally worth it for you. I really believe in this. I did, most all the art. I had my sister Jessica help me with some of the art, and I did the design, and, my homies Joe and Nick put a lot of effort into helping me develop this game, and we've crafted a pretty sweet game. And so yeah, we are continuing the creative journey and launching a new thing into the world. And it's so hard, it's so challenging, but it's so fun and rewarding to sort of take all these things and pour it into a creative work. Whether it's the art, the lore, we're actually writing a book. Joe is writing the book, but we're brainstorming about our world, constructing an ensemble cast of characters, tapping into esoteric knowledge, using, different religions and ancient texts and scriptures as references, and just kind of combining all the things we love and are interested in into a world that's fun and relevant. Wow, words. My brain is scrambled from launching a product. It's a hustle and a bustle doing a Kickstarter. But if you like what we do, Blissful Breakfast, if you like me, if you want to support something I'm working on, support some small indie creators from West Central Minnesota, I would love if you checked out my project on Kickstarter. It's called Wizards and Relics Awakening. And please let me know what you think, and let me know what you're working on. What do you think about fantasy worlds being real? What do you think about the what we can learn from them and the hero's journey? Are you as obsessed with the fantasy genre as I am? And yeah, what do you think about all that action? I bless you with magic and the understanding that you are a wizard, you are a sorcerer. You're able to tap into source and to leverage that to have the most beautiful co-creative existence that you possibly can. And I really hope that you are able to just get juiced up and jazzed up in this life, to feel the bliss today, to take a deep breath of bliss and joy and spread that to someone that you know or don't know today. Take some moments to use your sorcerer powers and send some love to someone, whether it's just your thoughts or you shoot a message to them. That's always a wonderful way to cast a spell of love on someone. Well, hey, thank you so much for dialing in and tuning in to this blissful breakfast. Stay tuned for the future. I think I might do a relaunch of this podcast and mix it up and change it up a little bit, but we shall see. I am kind of relaxing, taking it easy, taking it slow, and trying to get some divine guidance on kind of what the next step is, what the right direction is. But let me know if you enjoy this podcast, if you want to hear more, if you want to hear more fantastical stuff. And please, I want to see you on the Kickstarter. Let me know what you think about that bad boy. Back now. All right, stay magical. I love you so much. Have a glorious, blissed out day. Bye.